Hello my dear students, welcome back to the physics lecture. So in today's session we will start your BSc third semester, that is the second part of the third unit, aberration. Okay, already in the first part we studied that the aberration definition and the types of chromatic as well as the achromatic aberration. So in today's video we will start the spherical aberration. Okay, so for studying the spherical aberration, we must concentrate on this diagram. So by this diagram we have to explain the term. Okay, see here, spherical aberration. Already we know that the aberration is nothing but what? Defect produces in an image and an object using for the what? In an optical medium for the instead of using what? Lens formula, some defects are produces, and that defect we call this as a what? Aberrations. So spherical aberrations, one type of a defect or the one type of aberration will produce. So such a type is what? Spherical aberration. So the spherical aberration we will study in this video. So see here, spherical aberration. So the diagram. When a parallel beam of light is incident on a convex lens of a wide aperture. So here one convex lens is there. We are incidenting which type of light? We are incidenting a parallel beam of light. I will tell you how. So see here. Here our which lens is there? Convex lens is there. So here we are what? Incidenting which type of light or which type of beam? Parallel beam of light we are incidenting in a what? Convex lens which having the what? Wide aperture. Okay. So see here the paraxial rays are brought to focus at FP and the marginal rays at FM. So after incidenting the parallel beam of light on a lens, what we are getting here? We are getting two types of rays. First one is what? Paraxial rays, and second one is a marginal rays. So the paraxial rays we are indicated as a FP and the marginal rays we are indicating as a FM. So first of all we must know what is the paraxial rays and the marginal rays. So here, see here, paraxial rays is nothing but what? FP. So when a rays giving a what? Small angle. So see here our incident rays are there which is incidenting on a what? Convex lens, and here what? Again which are incidenting on the what? Principal axis, and here giving one small angle. So such a rays we call this as a what? Paraxial rays. Okay. So here at the FP point we are getting the what? Paraxial rays. Second, already we given the what? Marginal rays. So marginal rays is nothing but a certain rays. So marginal rays point is what? FM. So the certain rays which is incident on the center of the object. So here our object is nothing but what? A convex lens. So at the center whatever the rays are incidenting we call that as a what? Marginal rays. Got it? We are incidenting a what? Light in the form of parallel beam after incidenting a convex lens. So convex lens is having a what? Wide aperture. So we are getting what? Two types of rays. Paraxial rays as well as the what? Marginal rays. So already I told you what is the paraxial and the marginal rays. Okay, completed up to this. So next here what happened? Whatever the two rays are there, both are what? Closer to the lens. So next there will be no sharp image at any point on the axis. So here on the axis we are not getting any sharp image. Got it? So here in any axis or in that axis we are not getting what? Any sharp image. So this position for best focus for image is AB. So here we are not getting the what? Exact one sharp image, but we are getting here what? Focus. Okay. We are not getting the image but we are getting what? One focus, that we call this as a AB. Okay. That focus we call this as a AB. So that AB is nothing but what? Circle of least confusion. So the circle of least confusion formed by the what? Intersection of paraxial and the marginal rays. So here we are getting the what? We are not getting the sharp image, but we are getting the what? Focus of the image. So how the focus of image is forming here? By the intersection of the what? Paraxial and the marginal rays. So see here, when paraxial rays are there, marginal rays are there. So both are what happened? Intersecting each other. So up to this and this, whatever the intersection will be takes place, that's why what happened? We are getting the focus AB. Okay, so next here, this defect in a lens due to the what? Variation of the focal length for a different portion of a wide aperture. So that aberration we call this as a what? Spherical aberration. Already we know that the definition of the aberration, spherical aberration. So in spherical aberration, what happened means a variation of the focal length or the defect of the focal length will be takes place. So in that also see here, one focal length is there, another focal length is there. So here what happened? The defect produces in a variation of the focal length for the different portion of a what? Wide aperture. So this we called as a what? Spherical aberration. So next here, the variation of the image position along the axis is called longitudinal spherical aberration. So in focal length, the aberration or the defect will produce means we call this as what? Spherical aberration. So in a spherical aberration, the defect produces of the position of image along the axis. In a position, certain defect is produced means we call this as what? Longitudinal spherical aberration. Got it? So in that first we have to explain the diagram. So see here, in short I will tell you, we are incidenting what? Light in the form of what? Parallel beam of light. Where we are incidenting? We are incidenting on a what? Convex lens. So that the convex lens is having a what? Wide aperture. So by incidenting we are getting what? Two types of rays. Marginal rays as well as the paraxial rays. Paraxial rays means we are getting a small angle, by that rays we are called this as a paraxial rays. And next one is what? Marginal rays. Marginal rays means the rays which are incidenting at the center of that object. So here our object is nothing but convex lens. So we are getting FM and FP. Next what happened? There will be no sharp images forming. So here we are not getting any sharp image, but we are getting the what? Focus. That focus is nothing but what? AB. So that AB is, we call this as what? Circle of least confusion. Why this happened? Because of the intersection of the paraxial and the marginal rays. Okay. So next what happened? The focal length defect will be produced. So in that the defect or aberrations are produced in a focal length. So that we call this as a what? Spherical aberration. And that defect will produce is, or the in image position the defect or aberrations are producing means we call this as a longitudinal spherical aberration. Okay, we'll move to the next. So see here, the differences of FP minus FM. So we are finding the differences of the paraxial rays and the marginal rays. The differences between the focal length for a paraxial and the marginal rays is what? Measure of longitudinal spherical aberration. So suppose we are finding the differences between the paraxial and the marginal rays. What happened? This is of the what? Measure of the longitudinal spherical aberration. So next what happened? The variation in a image size is called lateral spherical aberration. Okay, already we know that the longitudinal spherical aberration. Next again we are getting the what? Lateral spherical aberration. So see here, don't be confused. The variation in the focal length, we call this as a spherical aberration. Next, the variation in the position of image, we call this as a what? Longitudinal spherical aberration. But the variation in a image size, we call this as a what? lateral spherical aberration. Okay, so next the radius of the circle of least confusion is measured as a what? Lateral spherical aberration. Got it? So this is a what? A spherical aberration. Okay, we'll move to the next step, that is what? Method of minimizing the spherical aberration. So here some methods are there. By using that method we can minimize the what? Spherical aberration. So see here, in that we will see the first point. What is that? Spherical aberration is a minimized. It can be minimized, okay, by using the what? Stops. So by using the stops, what happened? As to allow other axial rays or the marginal rays, but that reduces the what? Brightness of the image. If suppose we are allowing the stops for the axial or the what? Marginal rays, what we are getting? We are reducing here the brightness of that image. Okay. So this is the first point. Got it? So see here the second point, for a lens of a wide aperture. Already we know that our convex lens is having a what? Wide aperture. So for a lens of a wide aperture, spherical aberration can be reduced to a what? Minimum by a proper choice of the lens surface. So we are choosing a lens surface of a proper size. By using that we can minimize the what? Spherical aberration. Okay, these are the what? First as well as the second point. We'll see the next third point, that is what? Spherical aberration can be minimized. So it can be minimized. How? It can be minimized if the total deviation is equally shared by the what? Length faces. Whatever the variations are produced by the image, that deviation is equally shared by the length faces in a what? Plano-convex lens. So that time what happened? When the curved surface faces the incident or the emergent light, whichever what happened? It is more parallel to the principal axis. So that the spherical aberration can be minimized. By using the what? The total deviation, in that minimizing we have to share equally length faces. Okay, for a what? Convex lens. Suppose we are taking the what? Curved surfaces. So that curved surfaces, the faces, whatever our faces is there for the curved surfaces, which is incident or the emergent light, which is more parallel to the what? Principal axis. That's why by using this we can minimize our spherical aberration. So next, see the next point, that is the fourth point. Spherical aberration can also be minimized by the combination of what? Plano-convex lenses and separated by a distance equal to the difference between their focal length. So the fourth point is we can also minimize the spherical aberration by the combination of the what? Plano-convex lens. So that can be separated by a distance equal to the difference between their focal length. And see here the last point, it is possible to eliminate the spherical aberration by the combination of properly shaped suitable convex lens and a concave lens. We can eliminate what? Or possible to eliminate the spherical aberration by the what? Combination of properly shaped, that suitable convex lens and concave lens. Okay, this is the method for the minimizing the spherical aberration. So in today's session already we studied the what? Spherical aberration and the minimizing method of the what? Spherical aberration. Okay, in next class we'll continue this topic. Okay, thank you.